If you've been following me for a while, you'd know that I always shoot in RAW and edit my photos in Lightroom. And although I have dabbled with Fujifilm JPEGs now and again, I've never quite gelled with the whole process. Well, that is until now, because you see, between getting the X-T3 back in 2018 and the X-T5 last year, Fujifilm has added a lot of new film simulations and settings to the point where I can get a JPEG file out of the camera that is not too far off what I would edit like in Lightroom. So in this blog, I will share with you 5 recipes that I've come up with over the last 6 months. I'll show you the exact settings and give you some demonstrations in different locations as well. Before we get going, I just want to say that these were developed on the Fujifilm X-T5 and X-H2S running the latest firmware. If you're using a Fujifilm camera from 4 years ago, chances are you will not have all of these features. So my suggestion is to just play around with different simulations until you find something that looks similar. I can only comment and suggest film simulations based on the camera that I use and not every available Fujifilm camera. As for exposure, I know people like to overexpose their Fujifilm simulations. Personally, I've designed these to be used with any exposure compensation. Sure, sometimes they work great being overexposed, however other times underexposing them can actually give you a pretty cool result. You'll just have to figure out what works for your current situation and lighting. All the photos you will see going forward have not been edited other than cropping and straightening. However, what I have found is that the JPEGs out of the Fuji, especially if they're fine quality JPEGs, do have a fair bit of room for exposure adjustments. So even if the simulation is a little dark or a little bright for your liking, you can fix it with really good results in Lightroom or any other app. And finally, don't worry about pausing and saving the settings. I've actually written a whole blog with these simulations. I'll link it down below. First up is a recipe called Warm. As the name suggests, it's a warm, low contrast, high dynamic range recipe. It works great in harsh light, but also for golden hour, and personally I use it for pretty much all travel style photography. Film simulation is nostalgic neg, grain effect is strong large, color chrome effect weak, color chrome FX blue weak, smooth skin effect off, white balance auto with R1 B-1, D range priority is auto, color +4, sharpness -3. A quick note on clarity adjustments. All the simulations going forward will have a degree of negative clarity, usually around -2. However, it would only work if the camera is set to single shot mode. The moment you put it onto burst, clarity will switch off. This is because when you take a photo with clarity switched on, for some reason it takes a second or two to process that photo before saving it and being able to take another photo, which of course wouldn't work with burst. Something to keep in mind. The second recipe is called Vibrant. Again, it's a very vibrant, punchy, and bright recipe. There is a lot of dynamic range and it's not a very high contrast recipe, so it's great for harsh light and just midday lighting situations. Film simulation is Velvia, grain effect is strong large, color chrome effect is weak, color chrome effects blue weak, smooth skin effect off, white balance auto with R1 B-1, D range priority is auto, color +3, sharpness -2. The next simulation is called Punchy, and it's a very high contrast, very sharp, very clean simulation that is designed for street photography. There is a very strong color grade as well, so it might not be suitable for all scenarios. However, when it works, it looks really good. Set the film simulation to classic neg, grain effect strong large, color chrome effect strong, color chrome FX blue weak, white balance is auto with R2, dynamic range is DR400, D range priority is off, turn curve is H-2 and S+1, color +4, sharpness -2.
I was trying to. Oh, I needed a second body, but.
Set that to like it. But go anywhere to try and put my take on a certain area.
Next is a simulation called Muted, which is similar in aesthetic to the Punchy one. However, as the name suggests, it's a little bit more muted, slightly cooler tones, and generally not as colourful as the previous one. However, there is a lot of high contrast, and again, it's not suitable for all scenarios. However, for street photography, especially if there's a lot of contrast in the scene already, it can work wonders. So let's start with film simulation, and we'll set it to classic chrome. Moving down to grain effect, we'll have strong and large. Color chrome effect, strong. Color chrome FX, blue, strong. White balance is an auto, but if you click on auto, set it to R1, B-1. Moving down to dynamic range, set it to DR400. Tone curve, H+2 and S+1. Color +4, sharpness -2. And of course, no simulation pack will be complete without having a black and white recipe. This one is a very soft recipe with a lot of grain and a slight warm tone to it as well. I personally love it. It works great in direct sun as well as on a cloudy, overcast day. Film simulation is Acros standard. Monochromatic color is WC+2 MG0. Grain effect is strong large. Color chrome effect off. Color chrome FX blue off. Smooth skin off. White balance on auto. Dynamic range on DR400. D range priorities off. Tone curve H+2, S+3. Color obviously doesn't work, and sharpness at -4. Alright, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and please do check out the blog linked below where you can get all of this so you don't have to write it down. Now, will I be switching over to JPEGs? The short answer is no. As nice as it is to shoot in JPEG, as fun as it is to mess around with all of these settings, I love editing my photos. To me, doing photography without editing my photos and letting the camera do the editing is a bit like being in a boxing match with one of your hands tied behind your back. I would always feel I'm somehow handicapped because to me editing is such a strong part of photography. Now, where will I use the JPEGs is if, let's say I'm out with my friends, we're going to a festival, we're doing whatever, right? And that's where I will use a Fujifilm recipe simulation because I will not be editing those photos. They're just snapshots for memory, and at least they will look good coming out of a camera. But that's it. I hope you've enjoyed this. I might mess around with this a little bit more and make another new recipe pack. There'll be another video about it, but it'll probably be next year at some point. But yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for your support, and I'll see you in the next video. Alright, see you soon. Have a good one. Bye. I want to take a moment and thank Squarespace for sponsoring this video. I've been using their services for over 5 years and I couldn't be happier with what they have to offer. I use Squarespace to publish my travel and photography blog, where I write about gear, travel, photography, and more. I use them for my online store where I sell my presets, travel, and camera guides. Squarespace is my photography portfolio where I showcase my best images from all of the travels and locations. All of this is under one roof with a great web interface and mobile apps to keep on top of everything regardless of where I am. If you're looking for the best all-in-one solution, then I can honestly recommend Squarespace. Please click on the link in the description and use the code RomanFox for 10% off. Thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring, and thank you for watching.
It'll probably be like this for another couple of weeks, and then the council will come to scrape it all up. But, yeah, definitely gives your nostrils a workout.